I'm gonna ask you one question.
Ben Kuchera, you ready to just carve up some Nazi butt?
I'm ready. I feel like we haven't killed Nazis in so long. This feels novel
We
now.
used to all the time. Me and you been together. We used to just go on these Nazi killing outings.
This is like getting the band back
It's
together.
like it is in a lot of ways. This is Wolfenstein: The New Order, the unlikely, very good game in the timeless Nazi killing franchise. This one's made by Machine Games, a new studio that's made up of Starbreeze, ex-Starbreeze devs, a few other sources. Oh no 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 no!
Oh God.
I skipped ahead because I got too scared. I didn't want to see any gore in this video. Oh, whoops, too late.
I love that gore is acceptable though.
That gore is
Like,
acceptable.
The
Look,
shotgun to the head, like that's fine, but the chainsaw that disturbs me. That's where I draw the line.
well, a grandpa did this violence, and I love that. This dude's so baller in his master's jacket. You stay in the trunk. Only grandpas get to be outside of the trunk. It's very good. I've been liking it a whole bunch, and I know you did too. Oh, this poor dude. Oh, man.
God.
I can see his neck bones. Not connected to his head bones anymore, though.
I like how he gets back in the truck. Like I got the one.
I got the one. You get the other 900.
I got you started. He let go of the paper airplane, and now it's ready to fly off.
Sure. He put all the English on the ball. Oh, he's advanced in years. He can't go traipsing about. It's as you can tell, very classically styled first-person shooter. What's neat is how it mixes sort of these retro shooter conventions. For instance, you can whip out two machine guns and just blast your way through a level if you want. But it also adds in a lot of modern ideas too. So to start this sort of level run off, I'm going to play through using the game's stealth mechanics, which are really solid and, as is the best case in any game with stealth mechanics, completely optional. Because I could just as easily just blow my way through this situation, but it really makes sense to sort of mix and match the two styles, because there are troops that can alert other troops and bring down a whole shitstorm on top of your head if you are not discreet around them. So that's what I'm trying to do here.
And that's what the signal detected. It actually tells you where these kind of alarm characters are. If you kill them silently or before they can spread the alarm, you'll have less Nazis to kill,
And
which
there's
isn't.
one. Not a great thing in here. I mean, less Nazis is good, but killing them is fantastic. Got myself a trophy. Ooh, climbing up the ladder of trophy rankings. I don't know if that's a thing that really exists. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's satisfying. I get to more action-packed, dumb running gunning a bit later, and that stuff is just like falling off a log. It's pretty easy to get back into. But it's really refreshing to like have so many options, and it's not just like your style of play. Like the levels are really expansive, and they give you a lot of options in terms of, do you want to climb through this pipe and find this secret entrance that gives you a leg up on this alarm guy that you can take out, or do you just want to like barrel through the front door? There's another dude. Oh,
Don't get him.
what are you doing?
I always feel like I have to be silent. Like shh.
I actually like the... Oh, man. Really gnarly takedowns. I really like the stealth mechanics, I think, a bit better than the other stuff. Just because it's so, like, shocking when a game does that stuff really well.
Do you not have knives? Because I love the throwing knives. I can do that for hours.
I haven't found any in this map yet. I don't own knives for very long. I dish them out like the the character from Mystery Men. Wow. cool reference.
That's so, man. We listened to some Smash Mouth this morning. You had to get real 90s on it.
I listen to Smash Mouth every morning. It's my daily constitutional. It's what gets me going.
This was like that Better Than Ezra song. One more murder, you just killed one more person.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
Oh, there it was.
boom.
Right to the gut. I can't do that in Call of Duty, but I can do it super good here. Speaking of Call of Duty, I guess we can talk. Like it's. I don't know. It definitely controls like an older game, and I think that there's a big audience of people who see like Call of Duty and Battlefield come out every year and just see them as these like crass, repetitive games, and like they are, you know, military combat action games are so indistinguishable from one another. This one really does feel like a a shooter from maybe not the 90s, but the early aughts. Woof, not exactly stealthy there. Which
You gonna take that off? Oh, you left it.
Yeah, well, I'm about to go hang out with Grandpa and Grandma again, and I don't want to have to lug this giant gun around with me as I go. I don't know.
I think
typically when game developers try to like introduce a melange of like different eras or inspirations in their games, it comes out like really messy, or really imbalanced. Like that's the other crazy thing is like I don't think there's a best way to play the game. You kind of have to do all of them together. You've got to do some running, gunning. You got to do some sneaky shooting. Here I've just abandoned stealth entirely. And I've unlocked a perk. The game also has like a really good system for upgrades. Like you can find weapon upgrades in the environment, but you also have these challenges that you can complete as you play. Like, you know, get 5 headshots or get 3 stealth knife throwing kills in a row. And as you do them, you unlock permanent upgrades for your character, like increased ammo capacity, or you can find those radar. You can find those alarm guys like on the map. Like that's one upgrade that you can get. It's really clever and really fluid. Like you don't have to worry about spending points or whatever. Like you just get that stuff.
Yeah, the game just kind of rewards you for trying to play in different styles. Like the more you mix it up, the more cool stuff you're gonna get to play with.
Yeah. And I mean, it also looks fantastic, which I don't think this video is going to be an especially great example of, just because of the limitations of capture equipment. But it looks really fantastic. When you gib someone, man, it is a level of gibbing that has never been rendered before. It just, man, you see every ounce of the person that used to be there. Every fluid ounce, all of their former volume.
Every bit of tissue, every chunk of
tissue, every
gristle
drop of bone marrow, every meat chunk is rendered in despicable detail.
The hanging viscera is very, very well handled.
I grossed myself out. It's also like narratively speaking, I don't know, shooters. It's really hard for me to like get into the rich fiction of a shooter, because typically it's like these guys are the bad guys and we've got to kill them, and that's definitely the central crux of Wolfenstein: The New Order. But like it's a rendered, like it's a version of 1960 where the Nazis won the war and now have complete global domination. So like seeing like a Beatles record, only it's all Nazified, is I don't know, it's really engrossing in a way that I just didn't expect this game to really be. I've only played it a couple times, like pre-release at events, and I knew it was like going to be a pretty fun shooter, but it's actually a lot more than that. It's actually like a really great game world.
And the whole thing, I mean, they do play the over-the-top aspect of it for laughs here or there, but this is like the tone, it's pitch black in places.
It's horrifying. There's the opening scene, like you have to make a decision of like you're with this troop of dudes that you spend like a half hour with, and it gives you that good like brothers in arms, like I would do anything for these guys, and then you have to like choose one of them to have their eyeballs gouged out. Like, oh man, it's not a pleasant experience at all. I haven't even gotten to that one scene. I guess I'll leave it at that.
What's funny is that like other editors were like, well, we're going to talk about one of the most shocking scenes in the game, and I listed 3 scenes it could be.
Right.
And like we couldn't agree on which one was the most disturbing. Like this game really doesn't shy away from showing you some really challenging stuff, but in terms of violence and themes.
But it doesn't do it in like a. It has like each one of those scenes has purpose. It's not just like, here's something that's gonna get like the lamestream media talk. It's not it's not like that. Like each one sort of sets a tone for the game, and it gives you the character's purpose. Like the characters who are like surprisingly well fleshed out, including BJ, who like typically was just like his only character development was how bloody is his face, and that was it. And now you get like he's an actual raspy voiced character. I mean, he's a first person shooter protagonist. He's got a raspy voice. Knifed. But he's I don't know, he's interesting. Every character is interesting, and it's not just like a bunch of different military tropes. Like, it's a grandpa. Sometimes there are grandpas. Sometimes in war there are grandpas, Ben.
I understand. I feel like this is just like grandpa in training. He's teaching him how to be a cool war grandpa.
Ooh, aren't we all just grandpas in training if you think about it, Ben?
I think so.
Just life passes by in the blink of an eye. If you think about it.
Now, when you dual wield, I thought this was really interesting. You can do the alternate fire on one gun and not the other. So you can almost do like these crazy loadouts if you really want to get granular with it.
Yeah.
Like the game gives you some cool tactical options, I thought.
Yeah, here I've chosen to use no tactical options and just try to do as many knee sliding, double shooting, kill.
Oh, War Dog!
War dogs. Yeah, Nazis invented war dogs, cyber dogs. I don't know if they're dogs with robot parts or if they're just fully robotic. But yeah, that's how Nazis wanted, I think. Because I couldn't shoot a dog. BJ could pretty easily, as he showed. So yeah, here I've just like, screw the alarm dude. I'm not worried about it. I'm just gonna slide on my knees and shoot 80 dudes. It's the sweetest thing every time. Every time it happens, it's so rad. Although it's really hard to turn while you're sliding on your knees, so I miss more shots than I make. But you miss every shot you don't take, is what my gym teacher always told me.
That's true. So there was the 2009 Wolfenstein. There was Return to Castle Wolfenstein that was years before that. And apparently all of these games create like a trilogy. Like this is canonical Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I think
that's
in the
how much
loosest,
thought went into it.
In the loosest sense of it, like it's the same protagonist as BJ Blazkowicz. I can never say it.
No, there are characters who pop up in multiple games. Like this follows a through line.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I never picked up on that. I guess I'm not.
You're missing the loose threads that are dropped throughout the game.
You don't really need it, I don't think, though. This game starts off with a pretty self-contained story nug.
There's not a lot of subtlety here.
There really isn't. It's mostly sweet neck stabs and cyber dogs. I don't know how game development works, Ben. I'm just a writer. I'm not on the production side of this business, but I assume it's just an assembly line, and people just like have shit and then they put it in the game. And there was like somebody specifically there for cyber dogs, and somebody just like there to put in neck stabs.
Somewhere there's like a bar napkin with the word dogs crossed out, and above it says cyber dogs.
Yeah.
And then that's circled in red.
And somewhere on that assembly line was like somebody who was about to put in a bunch of shitty stuff, and everybody else was like, why don't you not put that in this game? Let's just not put a bunch of shitty stuff in this game, and let's just make it like all sweet shit. And then that's what happened. That's the story. You heard it here first. The final hours of Wolfenstein: The New Order. It's an assembly line with no shitty stuff.
Each step, they're tasked with adding 3 types of ill shit to the game.
Right, exactly.
And it doesn't move on until you get your 3 types of ill shit. You can hold up the whole works.
Right. Yep. Just like Ford taught us. Here's like, I may have spoken too soon because I'm actually not crazy about the boss fights. Somebody on the boss fight part of the assembly line was a little heavy-handed. They're just of the 3 or 4 I've done so far. I blew my gun up. They're very much shoot the vulnerable parts off the robot and keep shooting the robot until he's done.
Like, have we got to the part of this art form, this grand art form, where we can get rid of boss fights? Like, does anyone like these in games? How often are they done poorly versus done well?
I mean, it's a mechanical way of representing a climax, right? Like when Jenny dies at the end of Forrest Gump, that's Forrest Gump's boss fight, if you think about it.
That's Tom Hanks's Mecha Hitler right there.
That's Tom Hanks's Mecha Hitler, exactly. No, I mean, I'm not crazy about him. Just let Zelda do him, and basically nobody else knows how.
I think you should have to apply for a license.
To do a boss fight.
To do boss fights.
You and I can be the chancellors of the boss fight committee. And then people will come to us with their ideas like, there's a guy and he can jump around on the ceiling and you have to shoot him 100 times. Like, nope. License revoked. Not allowed. Yeah.
What if we take another enemy that already exists and we just make them slightly bigger and harder to kill?
And it'll have 3 shields instead of 2. No,
No, I'm sorry. Denied.
This
is like papers, please, for game design. We have to
Exactly.
stamp their documents.
I do love that whenever you kill a robot, like a billion robot parts fly off of them, and they become armor. So he's just like walking around.
I love picturing BJ like with like clips of
Clank,
wire,
clank, clank. Yeah.
just creating his own like ad hoc armor.
Um, it's a neat game. I'm liking it a lot. It is very upsetting at times. But you know what? That's life, isn't it?
Yep.
It's not all sunshine and power-ups. Sometimes you have to get in a trunk with a woman, and a grandpa drives you around for a while. The trunk smells terrible. So we just hop forward just a little bit to... I wanted to show off some of the creepy cast of characters that you'll encounter. And they don't know that I'm not, like, down with the swastika. And
Dear God.
This scene is just so crazy.
This is one of the rare times in kind of AAA first-person shooters you have no agency in this game. Like if this or in this scene, if this character decided to shoot you, there is sweet all you can do about it.
Right.
Really.
You're told literally at the beginning you're the last surviving like person from this platoon, and there's no resistance around the world. You're the only person that wants to fight against the Nazis. And by the way, Nazis are everywhere. Have fun out there.
And these characters like have no reason to suspect you of any kind of subversive.
But I'm gonna fight back. Yeah. Oh shit.
It ended poorly for you. But yeah, they don't think you're like the hero of this story. They are literally just picking on some random guy because they have the power to make people's lives a living hell. This is their fun. I found that almost scarier than anything else.
I mean, for me, it was the cyber dogs. It's good storytelling. It's like, and I think that I was probably foolish to just like assume like, oh, Wolfenstein, that's kind of a silly franchise, or traditionally it has been, because Starbreeze has delivered some truly like fantastic storytelling experiences in the past, and so like this, given this developer's lineage, like that makes sense. And I really did. I think they did deliver, and I'm excited. Like, I don't know. I was so ready to count Wolfenstein out, and now I think it's back in it for the long haul. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back more later this week for more vids. So, goodbye everybody. Bye forever.